And we're back, and we're going to continue through. So we've gotten through about half of the collection.
About half of it so far, yeah. So I mean, really, so far, my hypothesis in all this, which was that there's a lot more good and great games on the system than there are bad, seems to be holding up. I mean, I don't think we're being too biased. I think we had a couple that already that we kind of shot down from the masterpiece category. A couple that we were.
Well, you shot down.
I shot down. So someone's got to just lay the hammer down. And we have a whole bunch that we just didn't play, so they're kind of just out of the running. But you know, I'm sure they're a mix of good and bad, just like the rest of them too. You know, by any standards.
And I think your hypothesis is going to stand up rather successfully here. I took a peek at what we got going on here, and I think there's going to be a lot of never played. And then there's going to be even more being added to the good and masterpiece collection. So people out there saying that N64 was a bust of a console, financially speaking, it was for Nintendo.
It was a disappointment for them, I understand, but it's
which boggles my mind. It's just I don't know what it was. I mean, I did not have a PS1 growing up. I didn't play PS1 games until I owned a PS2, and I was introduced into a series from the PS2 sequels.
I had a PS1. I felt it was more of a single-player console, and it had some great games on it between that and PC. But for multiplayer, I mean, look at the 64. It's built for multiplayer. It has 4 controller slots on it. It's meant to be played with friends and family, and it does that masterfully. You have tons of options for doing that. A lot of them are just some of the best that's ever been created for that type of genre.
Well, let's get moving right along.
Let's get it going, yeah.
Never played.
Did not play.
All right, we're starting off strong with this tier.
Another one. I mean, I know this is kind of a modern version, modernized version they made of a classic game, but I did not play this one either. I imagine you did not play it either.
I did not.
All right.
So this is going to be a pretty big stack for a combo here.
We got the Maddens.
We got the Maddens.
So there were 5 of them on 64. I did actually play 2002, I believe, I think this one came out on GameCube, so I played the GameCube version of this one. But in terms of the rest of these, I was not a huge football fan. You were definitely always more of the football fan than I ever was.
Yeah, so, I mean, I didn't play every Madden. I played Madden, of course, on Super Nintendo. I believe I played 2002. Yes, I did. I played 2002, and I'm looking through here, and I believe I played 2001. This is when we started getting the yearly sports releases.
Yeah.
And Madden sold so well. And these games were good games. They were good simulators. And there wasn't much difference with them except for roster. Well, I shouldn't say that. This is when you started getting more innovation in terms of like mechanics with the football games.
Okay.
So you would get a pretty good Madden game, and then they would introduce just basic things that you would think they would have had originally, like the spin move, or the hit stick, which the hit stick I don't think came out on the N64 generation. I think that was the Xbox generation, original Xbox, and PS2 and so on and so forth. But they were good games, so I'm going to put them in the good category.
Okay, I think that's fair.
All right, moving right along here.
Okay, Mace, the Dark Age. Good friend of ours. He was actually interested in 64 just for this game. He told me all about this one. It is a arcade port. It does an okay job. Like I said, there's a lot of compromises when something comes from the arcade machine to a home console. But it is it's a fighting game. I did not play it myself. I know he was interested in it. He loved it, but I am not qualified to say anything about it.
Never played it.
You know where it goes. Ken Griffey Jr. I know the other Ken Griffey Jr. game on the system, but yeah, I did not play that one.
I did not play that one either.
I did play this one. Mario Golf. We got a kind of a series of games coming up here soon.
Do you want to combo these two since they're both sports?
Sure, yeah. And I don't have Mario Kart, unfortunately. Otherwise, it would be right around this section here too. So we are. I mean, keep in mind we're missing out on a few games, but these two, fantastic. I played a ton of time on Mario Tennis. Owned the game when I was a kid. Loved it. great multiplayer game as well, too. Another fantastic multiplayer experience. Golf, I wasn't so much as into, but I played it, really enjoyed it with one particular friend of mine. He really, really liked this one as well, too.
These were the games where Nintendo decided to get their foot in their own first-party sports section, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and then now we got a whole bunch of other things after, like baseball and soccer and stuff like that. Things are still going to this day.
Yeah, and Mario Tennis is still it just came out. Well, I shouldn't say just came out. There is a Mario Tennis on Switch. There is a Mario Golf on Switch. So I mean, they are still thriving and doing really well. Would I consider these masterpieces? I think again, it's one of those things where Nintendo took a gamble on their first-party characters. It worked out really well for them in dividends. I would put them in the high good category.
I agree. I really want the masterpiece category to be something that's sort of above debate.
Yes.
Like,
You can't debate Zelda. You can't debate...
Probably the most controversial ones we have in here would be Jet Force and Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Maybe Conker's Bad Fur, but even then, most people would agree it's a masterpiece. So these two you could argue with, I guess, but the rest of them, I don't think, unless you're just trolling, there's really not an argument for any of these.
Exactly. And speaking of some more good classics, you got the Mario Party games.
I have a thought for how we could put them in. I know that it's three very similar games. So my thought is, I mean, they were really, really good. This launched, countless sequels. This really is what you think of when you think of fun. I mean, so many nights have been spent on these games.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole, if you think about...
Blistered hands.
Yeah. They are fantastic. My personal favorite is 2.
Mine as well. I was going to say 2, to me, belongs in the masterpiece
category.
The other
2 are probably high good.
Yeah, because, I mean, 2 is unequivocally the best party game of party games. The games themselves were fun. I actually play these. I know you have your opinions on the expansion pack for Switch, but I do subscribe to the expansion pack, and I play the Mario Party 2 specifically regularly with my family. It's a blast. It's a lot of fun. The games are fun. The AI is frustrating. It's like unbeatable.
And there's so much kind of random whimsicalness to the games too, where things can go wrong. Even it kind of takes a lot. The flaw of a lot of games, like board games, this is a virtual board game, is you have one person or maybe 2 people that get so far ahead of everybody else. There's a lot of mechanics in the game that kind of give sort of a random edge to people sometimes.
Yeah.
So
like, there's been plenty of times I've been playing Mario Party 2. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got like 50 coins. I'm ready to buy a star. Oh, I'm like 2 spaces away from a star. Oh, I rolled a 1. Thanks, game. And then, something on the board happened, and now I'm nowhere near the star. Or the AI got the 10 spaces they needed to get their star, and now it's moved again. So, like, yeah, it's frustrating, but it's kind of like a fun, frustrating, like, geez, what do I do now? I'm going to lose. And then I end up losing, and then... Dad gets mad at Mom and the kids. And anyway, Mario Party 1 and 3, high good. I'm going to put Mario Party 2 in the masterpiece as well, just because the board games themselves were a lot of fun. The mini games were a lot of fun. It added some new features that weren't in the first Mario Party, and it's highly regarded amongst the community. So
I think it deserves a masterpiece.
And then we go from those to...
Oh, Mia Hamm Soccer. The only thing notable about this one is, I know the European version, they actually have a whole different athlete they picked for it, so it's like a completely different title, but it's the same game, I think. So, but I did not play it. So,
perfect.
Get rid of that one. Micro Machines, same idea. Only interesting thing I can say about this one is I know there's a version that's really expensive with an actual Micro Machines card that comes with it, which I don't have. This is just the regular version of the game, but I did not play it.
Did not play it.
Mickey's USA Speedway USA. I also did not play this one.
Did not play.
What do we got?
Seems like we got a lot of gaming that we have to do. I think we might have to actually play these and.
I don't know. I mean, there's definitely some good ones in there, I'm sure, but I think we didn't miss much.
Maybe that's what we should do. We should actually play through some of these ones that we haven't played.
Let's keep track. We're going to keep track of our results here.
Yeah, and then when we come back, when he starts updating his collection more, and then we can come back and then...
Because we want to do like a final video where when I do have the full set, where we can do a definitive final list and hopefully go through a lot of this stack. This is kind of our homework here.
Yeah, there you go.
At least one. Maybe we'll divide it in half.
Homework playing video games? I can think of worse things to do.
I can think of it, definitely, right? So this is one we don't have to put in that list, though. I did play Mission Impossible. I hated it.
Okay.
I rented it. I just could not get into it at all. I'm sorry. I think it's actually not even it's a pretty common opinion of it. I think it's not well regarded. Did not care for this at all. Just could not get into it.
Bad or awful?
Like I said, awful and masterpiece. I really want to make like kind of like really exclusive categories, so we'll put it in bad.
Okay. This one pretty easy to talk about. I don't know about you. This was another one where I played this with my grandfather. Monopoly. Monopoly is notorious amongst families, I think.
Yeah, it causes a lot of fights, and you know, it's...
And again, fun. You know, you're still having fun. Nobody walks away actually angry, at least not in my family. So I thought this was a good game. I thought it was a good rendition of Monopoly on the home console. I played the Super Nintendo version, so that's kind of why I played the Nintendo 64 version. It's the same game. You know, and then you had this cute little graphics.
I don't think I played
characters.
the 64 version, but I wouldn't feel trouble putting that in good.
It's good. It's a party game.
Monster Truck Madness 64 has a really cool cover. It is by Rockstar, notably. But I did not play it.
Clearly before the Grand Theft Auto era. Also did not play it.
So I know you're more of the Mortal Kombat. We could probably pair these.
That's
There was one more as well too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
There is.
So we can
This
pair
is
these
the one
together.
I played.
So I think I played actually all three of these. So okay, one of them is pretty easy to put in the Sub-Zero. I think belongs in the awful category. It is very bad. I know they were trying to make this a really different, unique, different thing, but they wanted to make like different Mortal Kombat mythologies. Like there's gonna be a Scorpion game, but they canceled all because this game did terrible. It just doesn't work. The controls are very awkward and stuff. There's a lot of like platforming and like pitfall type of stuff in the game. It does not work because it just takes the fighting game controls and tries to interject it into a 2D side scroller like weird RPG hybrid thing. It is terrible. It does not work. This version's even worse than the PS1 version and the PC version because it's those at least have cutscenes. This one does not have the cutscenes even, so it is awful. But Mortal Kombat 4 and Trilogy, a little bit more interesting.
Trilogy is the only one I played.
Okay.
I liked it.
I was gonna say I like it. It's a sort of it's a greatest hits of Mortal Kombat at the time.
One of the first remasters before remasters really took off.
Yeah, I would say it belongs in the good category. Not great, it's just good. Mortal Kombat 4, I did not care for. I didn't like. I think this is where they introduced the weapons.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I think it's a soft bad.
Okay.
Like it's not like a horrible or anything, but it's just a soft bad.
Okay. Never played it.
MRC, never played it. Miss Pac-Man, Maze Madness. I mean, it looks kind of cute and interesting, but I did not play this one either.
Did not play it.
So I did go through this when I actually picked this up. So that's when it was when I got this game. This is the first time I actually went through and played it. It's just a collection of old Midway games here. Probably the standout ones on here for me. I like Sinistar a lot. That's the one where he's like the things like following you, like I am Sinistar, run, coward, run.
Yeah,
that was actually a lot of fun. Who doesn't like Defender? Defender's a great classic. And you have a couple others on here too. I mean, you can make an argument that I think they asked like $40-$50 for this at the time. It was kind of a lot for 6 games, but I mean, they're not bad games. Oh boy, this is a hard one.
I've never played that. So.
I am just because of the lack of value in it. You got Tap Runner, you got some good games on here, and Spy Hunter, but I'm gonna put this as a very low. No, I'm gonna put it as bad.
Okay.
It's not really bad. It's just not enough value. They need to have like 5 times as many games on it for it to be worthy of like good. Did not play like the Acid Strike Zone. Did not play.
Did not play.
And that's how it's going to be for a lot of sports games. Milo's Astro Lanes, another bowling-style game, which were pretty popular on 64 for some reason. They just worked really well, I guess, on the system. But I did not play this one.
Did not play. Alright, I'm going to see if we have any combos here. Oh, these ones I could definitely talk about. Especially, so we got the NFL Quarterback Club games.
Okay.
So, Quarterback Club 99. Or was that a 98 on N64?
Yeah, 99, 2000, 2001.
Loved NFL Quarterback Club 99. In fact, I preferred this over Madden.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot of fun. And I could be wrong.
Do you remember anything distinctive about it over Madden? Or?
I remember being able to put cheat codes on here and making your characters look goofy. I can't recall if you could have done that in the Madden games. So it was just kind of like, it was still a serious football simulator, but then you could like make your characters look goofy, like super skinny or super fat, things like that. So kind of
had a sense of humor to it. Yeah.
Kind of like the Blitz games.
Okay.
So loved Quarterback Club 99, played the heck out of it, played it more than Madden. This is definitely in the good category. Quarterback Club 2000, because I loved 99 so much, I thought, why not? Why wouldn't I love 2000?
Logically, yeah.
Didn't. I did not really like it. It didn't resonate with me. And I don't know what it was. It just felt different. And so because of that, I'm going to put it in the bad category.
And worth noting, too, how do you screw this up? So they put it on this side over here, but look at the spine. It just says a clean sports.
There's
and they didn't screw that up on the other games. They still have the title on the other
weird.
ones. So yeah, I don't know how you can screw that up. So yeah, it definitely deserves to be in the bad. Just for that. just for screwing up the spines.
2001, I never played it.
Never played it. Yeah.
Probably because I hated 2000 so much. So what do we got here? Okay.
Some hockey games.
Yep. All right. So
a couple of hockey games here. Blades of Steel,
NHL 99 and NHL 98.
Breakaway. Did not play them either. Was not really a huge hockey fan.
All right.
NBA Showtime, NBA on NBC. Was not a basketball guy. Did you play this?
Did not play it.
So that can go.
And there was a Quarterback Club 98.
Oh, okay.
I knew there was. However, did not play this one. 99 is where I started.
The new Tetris, just like the new Coke. Yeah, no, I did not play this one. I'm not really a Tetris fan.
So I enjoyed Tetris for what it was. Did not play this. I'll do a side plug here. I did watch the Tetris movie.
Okay.
Very solid movie. If you are a video game fan at all, highly recommend watching it. There is an interesting story about how Tetris came to be, because it was famously developed by a Russian programmer, and this was during right around the time when the Soviet Union was going to be was falling, essentially. And so there's a lot of controversy with the game being developed and distributed worldwide. And it had, famously, Ghislaine Maxwell's father is part of that controversy.
Okay.
So
there's a lot of...
very, very interesting story. The movie is obviously exaggerated in some parts just because it's a movie and it's dramatic. Highly recommend the movie. Did not play the game, however. So, moving right along.
All right. We did play these, though.
We did play these. I think it's safe to say these are good games.
These are very good games. Love NFL Blitz. Of course, an arcade classic, arcade staple.
Who doesn't like suplexing people while playing football?
It just had such a good sense. It got even non-football fans into it, like myself. These are great games. Tons of fun. Great multiplayer fun. Like I said, they don't take themselves seriously at all. It's all about roughing up and doing all this crazy stuff after plays. It's kind of ridiculous fun, but they were great arcade games. There's actually one more NFL Blitz game I'm missing. There's actually 4 of them on 64.
Okay.
But yeah, I think these are safely all... I know they're very similar games in a lot of ways, just different rosters, but I think these are all safely in the good pile.
All right, so we're going to be hitting up some sports here. Okay, so we'll do a little bit at a time. These are all NBA games.
NBA GM 99, In the Zone 98, 99. I think my 99 is actually sealed. That's the only interesting thing I can say about it. Yeah. But otherwise, did not play these.
I did not play NBA Jam 99. NBA
More NBA.
Live.
Good amount of NBA on 64, but yeah, I did not play those.
Neither did I.
This is Nagano Winter Olympics 98. I think there's actually another Winter Olympics game they actually had in the system too. I don't have yet, but did not play this game either.
Did not play.
Not really an Olympics person in general.
Neither am I, honestly. Yeah, never played it. Don't care for the Olympics. Nothing against them. I just never struck a chord with me.
Never got into NASCAR either. I'm sorry, not the sports guy by any stretch of the imagination.
I consider myself a sports guy. NASCAR is not a sport. Sorry. It's just not. It's just people driving cars, and the only reason to watch it is to see the car crashes. This I did play. Namco Museum.
Got some good classics on it. Yeah, I did play this one. Some good ones. I mean, like I said, once again, it kind of has the same problem as the Midway Greatest Hits, where it's just not enough. Like we kind of become to expect, like nowadays, like when you release like sort of a repackaging of these type of games, like you're gonna have like 50 games, 100 games, whatever.
Sure.
Back then, this was sort of when they were just first starting to kind of re-release older games. But I think you kind of get your value on these. I mean, because you got Pac-Man, Galaga. It's kind of working alone for Galaga for me.
Yeah.
Dig Dug's okay. What else you got? You got Galaxy in pole position. I think this is low good.
Low good?
Yeah.
Oh man, I would say good. I would say good, just because you got both Pac-Man games, right? You got Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man
And Galaga.
And
so
Galaga.
I guess you could say.
I'd say
good.
that's good because at the time you got to think to your point, you didn't get packaged games like that.
I guess how else were you going to play these at the time unless you had
unless
you
you
pulled
had
out your
an
old
Atari.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So and because of that, I would say they were good package deals. You got what, 4 games?
I think it was 6.
Oh no, you got 6 games for what, $50-$60? I think there's value in this package in particular. The Midway one, I agree with you on. This one you had value on.
I think if this was priced like $40, it probably would have been worth it.
This one I could talk about.
Go ahead.
Nightmare Creatures. So this game I came across. I was starting to get into the survival horror video games. So like your Resident Evils. Had not been introduced to Silent Hill, but I was getting into more of like the gory stuff. Shadow Man was one that I very much enjoyed. So I rented Nightmare Creatures. Nightmare Creatures, that was bad.
I did not play it. I rented it once, but I barely remember it. So
do you have the sequel?
The sequel?
Nightmare Creatures 2?
Was it on 64? I don't think it was on 64.
I'm pretty sure it was, because I played it. You can try to fact check me. I did play. In fact, I know for sure it was, because I didn't have a PlayStation 1. We're doing a live fact check here. Was Nightmare Creatures 2 on N64?
No.
Really? How the heck did I play Nightmare Creatures 2?
Nightmare Creatures
2. No. I gotta recant.
PlayStation and Dreamcast.
I gotta recant. Nightmare Creatures I loved. I did play Nightmare Creatures 2. That was the one I didn't like.
Oh, okay.
So
this one you say is...
It's good.
Good.
It's good.
Okay.
Nightmare Creatures 2.
We'll defer to you. Like I said, I didn't play it really enough.
Nightmare Creatures 2, I played that. I didn't like it. That one I did like. Apologies.
Nuclear Strike 64. I played it briefly when I got it to test it, because it looks like something that would have been up my alley. I didn't see this, back in the day anywhere, but I mean, it seems like it'd be fun. I just, like I said, once again, I'm trying to defer. If I haven't played it for a significant period of time, I just have not made I cannot make a good opinion on it, so I'm gonna say never played.
Never played.
Off-Road Challenge. Another never played. One of the many racing games on the system.
This one I'm sure you played to your heart's content.
I actually like Paperboy a lot.
Okay, yeah?
The Super NES version of Paperboy I played a ton.
Okay.
Which was really, really good. This one, I think it's bad. I did not like they try to bring it into the 3D era, but I think the original Paperboy is classic. This one, I can't remember why. It just didn't work with all the stuff that they were adding to it. I can't remember the specifics of it, but I remember not liking it, so I'm going to put it in bad. Oh, boy. Okay. Now we're back to the rare dominance here. This is my sealed copy of it, too. Also, appropriately, it's another one that doesn't have the yellow spine. It has the dark black spine. Perfect Dark. This was the sequel, really, in many ways. The spiritual successor to GoldenEye. It kind of exceeds it in every way. This was a fantastic game. Legendary game. Amazing soundtrack. Great multiplayer. Even better in a lot of ways than, like something GoldenEye. GoldenEye's classic, don't get me wrong. Really, there's nothing you can say against this game other than that it really requires the expansion pack. So it was one of those games that kind of forced you to get an expansion pack, like Donkey Kong. But whatever, get one.
Right.
Masterpiece, easily.
Never played it.
It's one of masterpiece. Trust me. No one will debate this.
Hey, I'll defer to you on it.
No one will debate.
I'm familiar with it, of course.
I can't believe you never played Perfect Dark.
I've never played it.
Oh, it is so good. That should be your homework to play this one. All right, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. I did like Power Rangers back in the day. This is well after when I stopped being interested in it.
Yeah.
So I did not pick this one up. I played the Super Nintendo Power Rangers game and enjoyed it.
That game was awesome.
But yeah, I did not play. And ditto for this one. I did not play Snowcross, Polaris Snowcross. All right. Hey, Pilot Wings. I love the music in this game. But I did not spend a significant amount of time with this game. It is a good game. This is actually a launch game on 64. I really want to put this in the good category, but at the same time, I don't feel like I have enough experience with it. Did you not play?
I've never played it.
I did enjoy it. I mean, I played probably a couple hours in. This is right on the borderline, but I'm going to say it's in the good category. I think it is.
I think that's
fun.
safe. I don't think there's anybody that's going to argue with you. I'm familiar.
I'm not saying it's a masterpiece.
Of course, I'm familiar with Pilot Wings, and I think that's a safe bet. You've played it, and if you recall enjoying it, I think that's good enough.
I think especially for a launch title, it was fairly well done.
So these last games here, I've got opinions on. Well, not so much this one.
I think we both have opinions on these.
Not so much this one.
Oh, really? You play this one?
No.
Pokemon
Puzzle League.
I liked it a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. Actually, they have the voice actors come back from the anime to do voiceovers in it. It is just another kind of like Tetris-style game, but it was fairly challenging, I remember. I mean, maybe it's just because I was a kid, but it was actually kind of hard to play. To some degree, it was. I think it was multiplayer too, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember playing it against my cousin, I think. But I really liked it. I think this is easily in the good category.
Okay.
I like this a lot.
Okay. And what's interesting too, Nintendo 64 was, and I know like GameCube and Wii followed suit, but you never got true core Pokemon games on any of those generations of Nintendo consoles.
Right, yeah, that was kind of a, I mean, you didn't really get that until...
Switch?
To the Switch, yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll do these guys next.
Alright, so Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2.
I got an opinion.
Go ahead, you go first.
At least with Pokemon Stadium 1, I think this is a masterpiece. Hear me out.
Okay.
So, you had your Pokemon battles, right? But you got the transfer pack with this, so you could transfer your Pokemon from the traditional games onto this game. It was innovative for its time, and so you were able to battle your actual Pokemon from like red, blue, gold, silver, etc. And so
it would even let you play your Pokemon game on there as well.
Exactly. So and it had party games on it. So it had party games in addition to like the stadium battling. So it was another one of those things where it's just kind of like Nintendo. I gotta imagine the pitch meeting was just they were throwing anything they could at the wall for this, and it worked. So I would consider this a masterpiece. Pokemon Stadium 2, I would only consider this good just because it didn't really do anything new.
I like what I do remember about the Pokemon Stadium 2 is I like there's like the battle tower you can go through, so there was like a challenge to it.
Okay.
So I do like that aspect of it, but I could say that's like a good to high good for Pokemon Stadium 2.
I would agree with
Pokemon Stadium 1, just for being so special, and for especially, you have to remember, at the time, it was so amazing as Pokemon fans. Remember, we were used to playing Pokemon, seeing Pokemon either through the anime or on your Game Boy.
Right.
Here we got to see 3D models of them battling each other. And the effects still look, I mean, we have it playing in the background here. The effects still look good.
And they were making their traditional Pokemon, voicing. Their actual noise, their monster noises.
Yeah.
You didn't get that in the handheld games. You got the whatever bleeps and stuff.
Yeah.
But you had Blastoise coming out. Blastoise.
But this was what, this consumed a lot of your life as a kid. You would get your Pokemon and you train up your team and you fight against your friends on this. This is sort of like the showdown you'd have. I thought this was pretty incredible. So yeah, I could see this in the Masterpiece.
I lost quite a few cards to that game, and I won quite a few cards in that game. My buddies and I would battle on that, and then we'd forfeit cards.
like Pokemon cards. Yeah.
Yep. So instead of battling the card game,
Pokemon was it was just our life for that at that time.
And then last but not least for this segment, Pokemon Snap.
So another game I have a strong opinion on. Another game that's really kind of, I guess, in a lot of ways, kind of a risk. I mean, you would not think like a photography Pokemon game would be so fun, And I would say the only like weakness to this game is that it's fairly short and you can kind of get through it pretty quickly. Like you can in a long weekend you can get through this pretty easily, and fill out your Pokédex and everything, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of replayability, going back to the levels and finding secrets and stuff like that. I remember as a kid, that was a big thing. We'd be talking about, like, okay, I saw if you do this and you hit this at this certain time, this happens. You can see this Pokemon for a split second. I would say, and then he also had the whole sticker printing nonsense of this, which I never really did with this, but it was part of it as well too. But I enjoyed it quite a bit. I mean, it's a shorter game compared to the other ones, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. I would say this is easily in the good category.
I'm borderline Masterpiece.
Okay.
Hear me out. Yes, it's a short game, but to what you've already said, you were taking pictures of Pokemon and it worked. It was fun. Not only that, there were secret ways to see Pokemon that wasn't blatantly obvious to you. So you really just had to, I remember one level, I just randomly threw a Pokeball in a volcano and I think a Moltres came out. I was like, oh my gosh, there's actually more to this game than just snapping what you see.
You have to trigger certain things.
You have to trigger certain events in order to see other Pokemon that you didn't think were in the game.
Well, I think maybe it's controversial, but yeah, let's put this in the Masterpiece, and we're going to move Pokemon Puzzle League up to high good.
That's fine. That's the only one I haven't played.
I think, and really, this goes to show Pokemon on 64, you really could not go wrong unless it was Hey You Pikachu.
Right. This was the gamble that didn't work out. The other gambles worked out.
The rule is, if it has Pokemon in the title,
chances are it'll work out.
It's a good or great game. If it doesn't, then watch out. So.
That's a fair point. This does not have Pokemon in the title. This has got Hey You Pikachu.
And I have a soft spot for that game too, but at the same time, I can't give it. I'd be lying to you if I said it was anything more than awful. So.
Well, that's the end of this segment. So stay tuned. We got more coming for you.
We're knocking them out.